welcome back to another video on the channel, and this one's a little different. I'm actually recording this live, and it's not going to be all cut up and scripted. It's going to be a different style of video. I'd mentioned it on, I did a post on my community tab saying how to expect a different kind of video this week, and well, here it is. We're going to be ranking Canadian cities with a population of at least 75,000 people. I found this on tier list, and I went ahead and kind of edited the rankings a little bit. So the worst being horrible, best being amazing, and then I have a tab down here for just no opinion. Very few. I scanned through the list quickly, and there's very few that I don't really have any opinion or anything on. But yeah, so I'm going to be giving you my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just what I think of all these places. Everyone else is obviously going to have something different and unique perspectives about every place on this list. That's fine. I'm just going to give you mine. So we're starting it off here. Thunder Bay. Well, I've been to Thunder Bay once. Didn't really spend much time there. Drove through it. Went into Thunder Bay to get lunch and stuff. And in the short time I was there, I was not a fan. You hear a lot of things about Thunder Bay as well. Yeah, it's going to me. Probably gonna keep it in the bad. There's not a lot of Canadian cities that I would say are horrible. So, no, we're gonna go ahead and delete the horrible tab here. We'll have bad as the worst. But yeah, Thunder Bay, not a fan. Winnipeg. So I've like Thunder Bay. I spent a little bit less time in Winnipeg. Just kind of drove through it to get an idea of it. Drove through it on a cross-country road trip. The city itself, like a lot of people, very big, but the downtown is kind of underwhelming. Although on the corner of Portage and Main, that's a really cool spot. And then also Winnipeg, kind of has a reputation of being like a little bit of a rougher city. But like, I would just call it like boring. It's not as bad as Thunder Bay, in my opinion. Doesn't seem like there's overly lots of things to do. Just, I don't know, kind of boring. That'd be my best way. There's nothing wrong with it either. Like it seems nice enough, but just not really my favorite place. Hamilton, ooh, bad. I'm just not a fan of Hamilton. Sorry, just don't like it. Now Montreal. Okay, well, I'm obviously biased. I've lived in Montreal. Most of my life, and I think Montreal is an amazing city. Like, obviously it's got its problems, but yeah, I'm very biased, so a lot of people probably won't have it that high, but Montreal is going in the top tier for me. And Quebec City, same thing. Quebec City is an awesome place to visit. I don't know if I would want to live there necessarily, but to visit Quebec City, especially, well, honestly, it's a place you can go in the summer, the fall, the winter, the spring. It doesn't matter because there's something special about it in every single season. Especially if you go around Christmas time to view Quebec, it's really, really cool. And in the summer, of course, the gorgeous weather. It's just an awesome place to tour around. So Montreal and Quebec City are going into the amazing tier for me. Vancouver is actually the last sort of big Canadian city I have not traveled to. And it's somewhere I would really like to go soon. But from what I hear, it's very, very nice. Obviously, like all of our big cities, got its problems and stuff. But Vancouver, I'm gonna put it into the nice tier, just because I haven't been. I don't really have any like personal experience with it. But Vancouver is like, it's a very nice city, of course, with the mountains surrounding it. Like, it's gorgeous scenery. Abbotsford. Don't really have much of an opinion on it. I know people that have lived there. It's close to the U.S. border. Not overly far from Vancouver. Good location. It's just, I would just call it an average place. Nothing wrong with it. Obviously, people who live there can tell me like lots of things that probably are wrong with it or that are great about it. But yeah, I would just put it in the average category. There's nothing particularly wrong with it, in my opinion. Belleville, I would put with Winnipeg as boring. I haven't spent enough time there to say it's like necessarily bad or good or whatever. I would just say boring. It just doesn't seem to be much much going on. They do have the Sens AHL team there, though. I do know that. Brantford. Now, Brantford's one I'm going to put into the no opinion. Now, I've never been to Brantford. Honestly, I couldn't tell you much about it. All I know, it's in and around that massive Toronto area, one of the smaller cities, I guess. But then when you drive by and you see the sign on the highway and it says population 100,000+ or whatever it is, like you do in pretty much every place around Toronto, you realize, oh wow, it's actually pretty big. But honestly, I've got no opinion on Brantford. Next up, Kamloops. Kamloops seems like a really nice place. Great scenery around, super sort of, I guess you say, diverse scenery. There's the desert, you got mountains, rivers, lakes, all that. Just seems like a pretty cool place. I've never been. I'd definitely like to go. Now, Windsor, interesting one. I'm not overly a fan of Windsor. I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say if you had to pick between Detroit and Windsor, you're probably going to pick Windsor. But its location to Detroit makes it, like, I think that brings up its value, if you want to call it that, a lot, just because of, think of all the amenities you would have in Detroit, and you're literally across the bridge. So I'm just gonna put Windsor into boring. It's all right. It's not great. It's fine. Calgary's an awesome city. I'm gonna put Calgary into great. I love Calgary. The whole city, like, everyone is just so nice. Great downtown. Transit's good. You're an hour, if that, from the mountains. I really enjoy visiting Calgary. Cape Breton. Now, that's interesting because on this list, Cape Breton's not a city. That's actually kind of weird that's even on this list, because I guess Sydney probably doesn't even have 75,000 people. But Cape Breton is, we can just go with it here, but Cape Breton's an amazing place. I could never live there. It's too rural for my liking. Even Sydney, too far from everything. But to visit and all that, it's awesome. So I'm gonna put Cape Breton up here in the great category. Charlottetown, same sort of thing. Although you have a lot more. I guess it'd be amenities wise pretty comparable to Sydney in what you have. But I do like Charlottetown quite a lot. Cool downtown, waterfront's gorgeous, people are awesome. The restaurants, food scene, everything is just awesome about Charlottetown. I think my biggest problem with PEI is the bridge fee when you're leaving, or the ferry fee when you're leaving. That's how they get you. You get onto the island for free, but then you got to pay to leave. What's this one say? Is that Chatham, Kent? Yeah, I've got no opinion. Sorry. My knowledge of the GTA and all Toronto and all that is not that great. I've been to Toronto lots of times and stuff, but I'm just, all the surrounding cities, don't know that much about them. Next up, we have Chilliwack. I have friends that live in Chilliwack that absolutely love it. It seems like a really nice place. It's developed a lot since they moved there, and I know, like, I remember they moved there, must be over almost 10 years now. And when they got there, they said, like, it was a little rough around the edges, but really nice. But since then, it's become really well developed and really, really nice place. So I'm gonna put Chilliwack up in the nice tier. Kitchener. I actually went to Kitchener for the first time. When was it? Last week for Canada Day, and not gonna lie, like, nothing wrong with it, but it's kind of underwhelming in the sense that just kind of boring. And I wasn't planning on it, but I went to the weekend in Kitchener and ended up going into Toronto for a Jays game on Saturday. I thought there'd be a lot more to do. Nice downtown, went toward the two university campuses in Laurier and Waterloo, and like, pretty nice, but just, it was kind of boring. Obviously, when school would be in session and stuff, it's probably a lot more lively, a lot more people around, but I would just put Kitchener boring. Was kind of underwhelmed, not gonna lie. Moncton. That's an interesting one. I don't love Moncton, but I don't hate it either. I've been many times, it's kind of the I guess what you call the hub of New Brunswick, in the sense that everything you need is in Moncton, just pretty much as it is in Fredericton and St. John. It's not my favorite New Brunswick city. I would put Moncton probably just in the average tier. Not like overly keen on it, but I don't hate it either. It's just average. Drummondville, another Quebec place. Not overly keen on Drummondville. I would probably just put it in the boring tier. There's not like a nice small city. You know, you got a Q team there. People are nice. It's super French in Drummondville. Not a ton of English compared to some other parts, which is fine. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm not huge on Drummondville. It's all right, I guess. Now Edmonton. Now here's gonna be an unpopular opinion. I think Edmonton is nice. A lot of people hate Edmonton because of how far north it is, how cold it gets, and people say it's boring. I've been to Edmonton. How many times have I been to Edmonton? I think twice. Yeah, I've been to Edmonton twice. Really, really nice city, I think. Obviously, it's got its problems, as all prairie cities do. But yeah, the downtown's nice. The new ice district is incredible. As a huge hockey fan, it's just the Rogers. What do they call it? Rogers Arena, Rogers Place. I don't even know what they call it, but it's Rogers something, and it's super, super nice. And you can tell it's being built up really quickly. So yeah, I do like Edmonton. Fredericton, same as Moncton. It's average. If I had to pick between the three, I'd probably pick St. John. Between Fredericton, Moncton, St. John, I pick St. John. Fredericton's average. You know, it's nice enough, not overly big. Can't complain. Granby, that's not a place I was expecting to see on this list, but I guess they have over 75,000. They're going to be on the list. Granby's kind of cool. You know, you got the Granby Zoo. I remember going to that as a kid, a bunch, but I don't know. I just put it average. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing overly special about it either. It's just, you know, decent location. You know, it's close to Sherbrooke, not overly far from Montreal. Just average, I would say. Guelph is nice. Very nice downtown in Guelph. I think it's nicer than Kitchener. That's just my opinion, but you know, there's always going to be people that go the other way on that. But yeah, I think Guelph's not bad. Halifax is a terrific city. Obviously, it's got a lot of problems with housing and living stuff. People would argue that there's too many people for what the city, and even what the whole province, I just made a video on it on my last Nova Scotia video, that there's too many people for the province to handle. But the downtown core of Halifax, it is an awesome place to visit, walk around, the food, the bars, the waterfront. Halifax Harbor is just, everything about it is just makes it an awesome place to visit. I love Halifax. Now, I have no idea about I don't even know how to pronounce. I'm not even going to try. I have no opinion. Kelowna. Well, I put Kamloops. Where did I put Kamloops? In nice, so I got to put Kelowna great, because one of my friends always says that Kamloops is a poor man's Kelowna, so I'm going to put Kelowna just tad. Actually, you know what? We're going to put it into nice, on par with Kamloops. In Kelowna, there's more money than Kamloops. Scenery is probably a little bit nicer, but they're both really nice places, so I'm going to put Kelowna under the nice tier. And again, like the nice tier, it doesn't mean they're bad or anything, or like second tier to any of these places. It's just my opinion. These places are all nice. You know, you can find good anywhere. It's just my opinion. Next up, we have Kingston. Interesting. I've been to Kingston a lot. It's a pretty great little city. Downtown, like by the waterfront and stuff, is, I would say, like the highlight of it. You know, as you get up closer back to the highway, it's not as nice. And of course, home to Queens. Kingston, I do really like Kingston. I'm going to put it under the nice tier here. Lethbridge. Haven't been to Lethbridge before, but I hear it's up and coming. You know, it's one of Alberta's, like, I don't know if is Lethbridge the fourth biggest behind Red Deer? I could be wrong, but it's growing. They got the university there. I'll put it under average. I don't know enough about it to say nice or anything, but I hear it's not bad at all. London. Now London, I would put under the nice. I've heard a lot of great things about London. I've only driven through it twice, but it seems like a nice city. You forget how big it really is, just because like Toronto makes everything else look small, but London is a pretty big city, especially considering like geographically it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's just in the middle basically with Toronto and Windsor along the 401. But yeah, nothing wrong with London. Medicine Hat. Well, I'm gonna put Medicine Hat down to boring, because from what I heard from friends and such, Lethbridge is better than Medicine Hat, so I'm just gonna put Medicine Hat under the boring tier. Nanaimo looks really nice, really really nice. Of course, everything in BC scenery wise, like, no, it doesn't matter if you're in the interior, Lower Mainland, or around Vancouver Island, everything is absolutely gorgeous in BC. Next up, we have Niagara. Here is a controversial opinion, but Niagara is going under the average here. Obviously, Niagara Falls, very cool, but Niagara is extremely overrated. It's a tourist trap, especially downtown. Not overly a huge fan. If I were to go to Niagara, I would rather be on the Buffalo side. That is just my opinion. Oshawa. Honestly, I'm just gonna put under boring. There's, I know people that live in the Oshawa area. Amenities wise, you have everything you absolutely need, like could possibly ask for. Seems like a pretty good place to live. Very nice, people are nice, but there's nothing overly special going on. Ottawa, our nation's capital. Now, I'm just gonna put Ottawa under the nice, because I'm not like the hugest fan of Ottawa as some of my friends are. Obviously down around Parliament, Bytown Market, like all that, great. But I always find when I'm walking like downtown Ottawa, there's so much just trash and garbage on the streets, and it's not like an overly clean city, which I really like. It bothers me a lot, because it's supposed to be our capital. It's supposed to be a place where people from away come and like they see this is where our country is run. And I always find in Ottawa, like, there's kind of garbage and like it's dirty. But it's a very special place, obviously, so I'm going to put Ottawa into the nice tier here. Peterborough, never been, don't really have much of an opinion. I know what university's there. Is it Trent? I think Trent University's there. Never been, don't know much about, just no opinion. Yeah. Prince George, it's a little too far north for my liking. I'm just going to put it in boring. Although the scenery and there's really good hiking and stuff up in Prince George, and they got the Western Hockey League team there. I'm just going to put it under boring. Red Deer. Okay, Red Deer is underrated. I'm putting Red Deer under average. A lot of people would put it boring, but it's growing. It's that perfect halfway point between Calgary and Edmonton on the QE2. And it seems pretty nice. The downtown seems nice, and I would just say it's an average city. Obviously, it's not as cool as Calgary or Edmonton, but it's all right. Regina. Ooh. I'm going to put, controversial here, but I'm going to put it into nice. I like Regina. I'm biased towards Saskatchewan. I really like the province, so yeah, I'm going to put it in nice. Let me just say, the Mosaic Stadium, the way they rebuilt it, just absolutely gorgeous. Saguenay. Oh boy, that's an interesting one. I've been to Saguenay twice for 4 days each time, so I spent about a week there, and it's an interesting place. And to be fair, I've gone in what month? Middle of November the first time and end of November the second time, and it was cold, lots of snow already in November, but the scenery up in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region is beautiful. People there are nice, although if you do not speak English, you're going to have a tough time communicating, because there's a lot of people up there that speak no English at all. But of course, like, that's just how it is up there. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm going to put Saguenay in the average. It's borderline kind of boring, but then again, with all the scenery and how much there is to do in the summer, like outdoor stuff, like, it's hard to say it's boring, because there's a lot of people that travel up to that region just to do outdoorsy activities and stuff like that. So I'm just going to put it average. There's nothing overly wrong with it. It's about 2.5 hours north of Quebec City, up the what highway is that? The 175, I believe. Beautiful twinned highway. Do not recommend taking it in a snowstorm, though. That was an interesting drive back home to Montreal during a snowstorm on that highway. Do not recommend it whatsoever. Next up, St. John. So where did I put? I'm going to put St. John. I'm still going to put it under the average tier. I'll put it up here next to Moncton and Fredericton. Although it's I would say my favorite New Brunswick city, it's still like not. It still has got its problems, and it's not, it's not the best place in the world. But it's still like it's a good place. I know people know. It seems to have like the most sort of downtown feel when you're actually like right in the city. Bigger buildings and stuff like that than Moncton and Fredericton. More of a city feel. It's very industrialized. But if you want to know more about the three cities of Moncton, I made a video about that last summer actually, but. Obviously, with the costs and stuff, it may not be as relevant, but there's still some good information in them if you want to check those out. Sarnia, bad. Not a fan of Sarnia. Drove through it going to Detroit a few years back, and there's just nothing to do. I've known people who live there, weren't overly big fans of it. Sarnia's going to be one of my bad tiers. Saskatoon. Now, Saskatoon, I'm going to put that in so I can get up here. Great. I loved Saskatoon. I've only been once, a couple days. Very, very underrated city. The downtown is awesome. It seems to be growing up. Nice highways going through the city. The people were awesome. Restaurants, great. Was a big fan of Saskatoon. The Sioux. I like the Sioux. Out of all the towns I've been to in Northern Ontario while doing the cross country, we drove on the 17. So all the little towns and stuff along the 17. Sault Ste. Marie was absolutely my favorite. Very nice, although when I was there it was sort of the peak of COVID, so everything was closed, couldn't even eat in restaurants, but the waterfront really, really nice. I like how close it is to the US. Very convenient, pretty nice, honestly. It's probably one of the better places in Northern Ontario to live, at least in my opinion. Sherbrooke, Sherbrooke's all right. I'm gonna put it under average. I'm not a huge fan of Sherbrooke. I've been there 3 or 4 times. The region, driving on the 10 from Montreal to Sherbrooke, the scenery is awesome. Lots of outdoor stuff to do, but in terms of like the downtown stuff, a little underwhelming for it being our fourth. Or I don't know if Sherbrooke's bigger than Trois-Rivières or not. I'm not sure, but it's definitely one of our top 10, obviously, cities in Quebec, and it's all right. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, by no means is it bad. It's not my favorite place in the province. St. John's, Newfoundland, Labrador. Well, this one is going under the amazing tier. I love St. John's. Went in February, like I said in my past video about Newfoundland, but there's so much to love about the city. The only thing obviously I don't like is how isolated it is, but then again, that's what makes it so special at the same time. But St. John's is an amazing place. Sudbury, bad. Was not a fan of Sudbury whatsoever. I think that's a pretty common consensus for a lot of people, especially obviously maybe not if you live there, but yeah, not a fan of Sudbury at all. Barrie, I hear, is actually pretty nice, and if I had to pick somewhere in the Toronto area, I know it's about an hour north of Toronto, but I would pick Barrie. It just seems to be a nice small city. Well, it's not that small, but Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna save Toronto for last. Trois-Rivières. Now, it's been a while since I've been actually to Trois-Rivières, but Trois-Rivières, it's pretty nice. The downtown, lots of festivals and stuff that go through there. I'm gonna put it up into the nice tier. It's a pretty nice city. I like it. I do like it better than Sherbrooke. That's just me. Now, Victoria. Now, Victoria looks like one of the places I've never been. I would really like to go, but Victoria looks amazing. Yeah, just downtown. It's hard to beat. I heard, who did I hear say this? It might have been, oh, you know who it was? It was Ryan Reynolds doing a interview with CBC The National for Canada Day last week, and he was asked about questions about Canada, and he said I think something along the lines is it's hard to beat a capital city in Canada than Victoria, and from what I've seen pictures of, people telling me Victoria just looks awesome. I would say he's probably pretty right. And last up, we have Toronto. Now, I have an absolute love-hate with Toronto. Hate Toronto for how big it is and how much of a pain it is to drive there. And I'm gonna say it, a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people from Toronto think it's the center of the universe, and it's not. But that's just sort of the mentality for a lot of people who live in Toronto. And for those reasons, I really hate it. But I was in Toronto, like I said, this for Canada Day, and it was my first time there since well before COVID, and reminded me of like how much like the downtown is awesome. You know, going to a Jays game, seeing the CN Tower, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna put Toronto in nice. Could never live there ever. There's not enough money in the world for me to live in Toronto. That's just no offense. I'm not like, if you live in Toronto, that's fine. That's just my opinion. But to visit Toronto it's a pretty cool city to visit. I think everyone should definitely visit Toronto and spend some time in Toronto because there's so much to do there. So yeah, this is my final ranking. Obviously, a lot of these could be like, you know, up or down more if I gave it more thought, but just top of my head thoughts, this is my list. So you got Montreal, Quebec City, St. John's, and Victoria, my amazing. This is my great tier, nice, average, boring, not a lot of bad. Sorry that it's all Ontario in the bad, but you know, and also Ontario in the no opinion category. But yeah, so this is my list. What do you guys think? What would your list look like? What changes would you make? Let me know. Also, let me know, did you even enjoy this style of video? I know I was kind of just rambling on. It probably wasn't as clean cut as a lot of my other videos, but I thought it'd be fun to try it out. And I can do more tier lists like this too if it does well and you guys want to see more of them. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.